our studios in Austin, Texas, this is Drinkin' Bros Fake News with Ross Patterson, Dan Holloway, Papa G with the traffic,
How you feel?
Not good.
Yeah?
field reporter Hot Bob, and Delco Dan with sports. Welcome to Fake News.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros Fake News, everybody. Bringing you the realest, fakest news of the week. D'Anthony, midterm season is upon us right now, and the season is October. There's only one season for midterms, and it's October.
And there's only 3 weeks of fall in Texas.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
It was like 78 degrees until 11 a.m. yesterday, and then it was 96.
Sure was.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Sure was.
By the way, like, subscribe, set your notifications, all that shit, because YouTube is giving us quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I don't think it's long before we're on Patreon. We got a call about it tomorrow, so we will see, because nobody's getting it. Let's see if I did. Sure didn't. It's blank. It's just my children's faces. My smiling children's faces. One looks confused. Daddy, why are we not getting notifications of your show? I'm sorry, son. YouTube doesn't like what we have to say, apparently, even though we've paid off people inside of it.
Well,
I don't know what to say.
They're certainly not going to like today's show.
No, not at all. But midterm season is here. It is October. That's kind of where all the magic happens. A lot of stuff with Herschel Walker going on.
I like to call it Shocktober.
Shocktober.
Because I fucking go full shocker for this entire month.
You have to.
Like, I don't go any in the pink without at least one in the stink.
You have
the
to.
entire month. And
Yeah.
it's, part of my culture. It's
Of
how
course.
I was raised.
Of course,
So
yeah.
now I do it to, honor my ancestors.
Sure. And who are they?
Just, whatever.
Yeah, those just people.
Yeah.
Just skin people.
Yeah.
People with skin.
They had most of their skin, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they were missing some skin.
Well, nobody's got all their skin.
Maybe from a fire or
Yeah.
something.
Well-
I didn't know if they were burn Vicks. Maybe they lived in some hut and it got torched, kind of like in Braveheart or something,
Yeah. I mean, it happens.
It does.
And then, obviously I'm pale, so there's melanoma involved.
Right.
So,
All right.
what are you going to do, man?
I'm checking in on you. But yeah, we had a Herschel Walker leading off the month. That was fun. Everybody was like, oh my God, October surprise. We've got a card, a get well soon card signed by Herschel Walker to his girlfriend, allegedly. We still don't have proof. I think he said it wasn't his handwriting. So we had that fun election going on there, and then some fun stuff in Ohio, and then Pennsylvania is also one of the biggest ones. Now, this October surprise was unique, and I personally loved it because it didn't come from the other side. It wasn't Dr. Oz on this one. It was John Fetterman's own party who decided to let him go on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, and I believe a female correspondent interviewed him live on air.
Dasha Burns.
Yeah.
Or Dasha. I think it's Dasha. I don't know.
Not sure, because I typically don't sit down and watch it. My wife likes David Muir, maybe because he's better looking than me. I'm not sure yet, but I do like to make fun of the drama that he brings to the nightly news, and I'm here for you. So maybe I'm caught up in his magic as well. We'll figure it out later on down the road if I have a gaze stretch later in life.
It's probably his haircut, to
Could
be honest.
Could be.
Your hair is your head suit. So
Sure is. He's got a decent salad.
Yeah.
He's got a decent salad. But when I watched this interview, it was shocking because, one, Fetterman did it on his own. He didn't have to go and do this interview, and I don't know why his camp would let him sit down and do it.
Oh, I know why.
You do?
Yeah, they wanted to. So they wanted to expose this cognitive decline to the public, and then spend the next 2 weeks explaining what it is, right? From their perspective, to try to massage that, so the first time people see it isn't at the debate. That's what they're doing.
So a couple things on this, and we talked off air about this the other day, and we'll talk about it here today. with John Fetterman in particular, and by the way, I want to preface this by saying I'm not joking when I say this, but you do have a blueprint already in place for the Democrats with Biden of if you just stay in the basement and never come out and do anything, you can win an election. And by all accounts, all the polls that we read and that we've gotten over the last 5-6 months, Fetterman allegedly has been ahead by a ton of points. If I'm him, I don't do this debates. I certainly don't do any interviews with anybody. And I just go through the next 3 weeks and then just say, fuck it. I think I've got a big enough lead and I can do this. And then I think once you're in and then you come out afterwards, they can't stop you at that point. And people typically do get better from strokes. I mean, it's a prolonged type of thing there. So it's going to be a while, but you're in that job for at least 2 years. Ride it out after then. Why are you jamming this in people's faces? Especially you're just giving a gift to the Republicans at this point. And frankly, the interview we're about to show you here, I was shocked that the media actually went after a Democrat. This is the first time I remember this happening in a very, very long time. And then they torched him on NBC Nightly News, and I couldn't believe it. A bunch of people, from the left were on Twitter crying. They were like, "Can you believe the media is doing this to people?" And I was like, yes, because the media's been doing this to people for the last fucking 6 years, just on a different party. So it must be your first time, and welcome, friends or new friends. This is what the media is. The only thing that I can think of, Bob, was Dr. Oz's show on NBC before they pulled it? Because I know he had to give up his show.
I thought it was syndicated.
It was a television show, so it was on one of the big 4 networks.
I thought, okay, I'll check.
Yeah, just check what channel it was, because that is the only thing that makes sense. If this was on NBC, maybe they were trying to help him out, because, he was on the network for, 13, 14 years, I think. Where was Dr. Oz airing on?
No, I'm pretty sure it was syndicated. Like different networks bought it.
Okay, well,
you know what I mean? Like some local NBC affiliates played it, some local CBS. I'm looking right now.
Who was the production company?
Oprah.
Yeah.
Who was Oprah with?
Oprah.
No, I know, but Oprah was with what? CBS, maybe?
I don't know.
It's shot at both NBC Studios, then later CBS Broadcast Center.
Okay,
that's where it's shot.
NBC Studios. Okay, well, this was an NBC fucking interview.
Yeah, but this isn't. This wasn't a hit piece. This was a mirror.
To me, it felt like a hit piece. Like if you sit down with somebody like that, you have the opportunity, because this wasn't a live interview. You could have just tossed this in the trash and been on about your day and said, "Hey, I don't think this is good for your party to air."
So who cares? You've got the responsibility to report the fact that this dude can't have a goddamn conversation that's running for Senate. To be one out of 100 senators in our country, I think it might be relevant that he's able to communicate, because the job is to communicate.
I completely agree. Now, the left is pissed off about this, that they showed what was actually happening to him. And I don't know why, because I'm with you. Like, yes, the media does have a responsibility to it, but where have those responsibilities been for the last 6 fucking years? Because it certainly hasn't been for anything on the right. And like the Herschel Walker thing, to me, it's fucking hilarious, and I don't really care about it, and that's what makes it fun. Yeah. But the same thing with the Fetterman thing, like we're talking about a guy in gym shorts and a hoodie who chased down a black dude with a shotgun. Like, I find all of it very comical, and if we're going this direction anyways, let's do it, but just cover it evenly on both sides. So with this, I am genuinely surprised that the media actually did their job, because you're right, this is what they're supposed to do. Bob, go ahead and play this interview for everyone. Not sure if we'll get dinged, but does it really matter at this point?
We're definitely getting dinged for this.
Oh, well.
Pennsylvania, now considered a toss-up. Our Dasha Burns spoke with Democrat John Fetterman in his first in-person sit-down interview since he suffered a stroke. And Dasha, this was not a typical candidate interview.
No, Lester, because of his stroke, Fetterman's campaign required closed captioning technology for this interview to essentially read our questions as we ask them. And Lester, in small talk before the interview, without captioning, it wasn't clear he was understanding our conversation. Can voters trust that you will be able to do this job on day one?
Yeah, of course.
This is Pennsylvania Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman's first in-person sit-down interview since a stroke sidelined him from the campaign trail for months.
That auditory processing where I'll hear someone speaking, but sometimes I'll be able to be precise on what exactly that they're saying. I use captioning.
His campaign required that he be allowed to use a transcription program on his computer during our interview.
I always thought I was pretty empathetic, emphatic. I think I was very, empathetic. That's an example of the stroke, empathetic.
Yeah.
I always thought I was very empathetic before having a stroke. But now after having that stroke, I really understand, much more kind of the challenges that Americans have day in and day out.
So you say you're on the road to full recovery, but right now, voters really have to take your word for it. We've asked for your medical records. We've asked to have a conversation with someone from your medical team, to interview your physician. You've declined those requests. Why?
Well, I feel like we have been very transparent in a lot of different ways. When our doctor has already given a letter saying that I'm able to serve and to be running.
I mean, respectfully, that letter from your physician, that was 6 months ago. Don't voters deserve to know your status now?
Being in front of thousands and thousands of people and having interviews and getting around all across Pennsylvania, that gives everybody and the voters decide, if they think that it's really the issue.
Polls show Fetterman's lead is shrinking against Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz. It's now a toss-up race that could determine control of the Senate. Republicans focusing on crime. In particular, Fetterman's votes on the parole board.
Fetterman says he's trying to get as many criminals out of prison as he can,
including votes in favor of paroling convicted murderers. Are you soft on crime?
Of course not. I'm actually effective on crime. And I believe in second chances, and I've run on that record.
Meanwhile, Fetterman going after Dr. Oz on abortion rights.
Dr. Oz likes to make fun of me that I might miss a word, but he's missed 2 words, and that is a yes or no on the national abortion ban. If you're going to be our next senator, you have to give the answer.
Lester, Fetterman told us he is committed to debating Dr. Oz on October 25th, where he will also be using closed captioning.
There's no way he does that debate on the 25th.
Oh, he's doing it. That's what this was. So this army of troll bots on Twitter and throughout the media, right? The actual NPCs that have pulses they will spend the next 2 weeks or however long it is preparing the battlefield, explaining to people what this auditory processing issue that comes along with strokes is, and blah, 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 how it's not a cognitive issue, which of course it is, because what the fuck are you talking about? But that's what this is. They flew up the test balloon, and now they're going to send their troll army out to, call people hateful or whatever, and then I've seen a bunch of troll bots posting on Twitter about how, fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene and these people are all crazy and they're in office, so what's the big deal? Basically, is what they're saying. Like,
yeah.
Fuck, man. So that's what this is. This is exposure therapy. It's nothing more, right? And it's the woman, Dasha, whatever the fuck her name is, this reporter is getting hammered by the press for doing this, for questioning his mental fitness. But we've already made the mistake recently, we as a country, of electing a person that has cognitive issues. And what has it bought us? You know what I mean? A deep recession, an energy crisis, a fuel crisis, a border crisis, multiple foreign crises, including the Afghan withdrawal and all this stuff. Like, we can't make this fucking mistake again. Joe Biden was on TV the other day saying that his son Beau died in Iraq in 2013. No, he died in, I think, Bethesda, Maryland, from brain cancer in 2015. Not even the right year, the right cause of death, or the right fucking place.
Right.
This dude is out to lunch, and we're going to put another one in?
That's what I thought when I saw this, and to me, it would be complete madness to let this guy go on TV on October 25th, because you saw how slow that interview was and him reading the words on the screen, right? Do you know how long a fucking debate would be? And if somebody jumps in, if Fetterman jumps in, or I mean, if Dr. Oz jumps in to say something, or the moderator jumps in to say something, I don't think a computer can catch up that quickly. Or is he just going to have to take a 2-minute break to read a transcript of everything that's going on before answering? And I don't know about you, but like I retweeted this on Twitter, and I was like, man, it's sad to watch. Essentially, is what I said, something to that effect. And you know, a bunch of bots and everything else came after me and said, well, what if the person? No lie, somebody said this. What if the person was deaf and they had to read the things? And I go, being deaf is completely different than having a stroke.
Yeah.
I mean, two entirely different things.
Somebody, in response to one of my comments, posted a picture of Tammy Duckworth, a senator from Illinois who had lost both of her legs, I think in a helicopter crash in the Army.
Yep.
I was like, what about this? Like, okay, you're comparing somebody in a wheelchair to a person that can't think. Mm-hmm. That's not really the same. And there's other issues at play here as well. At least 25% of people have a second stroke, right? So remove all the other stuff surrounding that, and then you add to it the stress of being a fucking senator. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The stress of being on the campaign in the first place, which is what gave him the first stroke.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the chances of this guy having a second stroke are way higher than average, which is already 25%. So you can't fucking elect that guy. That doesn't, it's not, look, nothing personal, dude. But
I know.
what the fuck?
I know.
And there's a more important question here as well, which is, why is the leftist establishment continually pushing people into office who are in clear cognitive decline? I mean, we see what's happened with President Biden. He's a puppet and nothing more. Occam's razor says it's so they can control him, right? The simplest answer is so they can control him, just like with Biden. You know what I mean? Like, this is... I guess there is some good news. And that's that when asked about chasing the black dude with a shotgun, Fetterman said that he wouldn't do that anymore. So... I'm not kidding. He said that he would make a different decision this time, or something to that effect.
Yeah. Well, he'd be slower this time, you know. So I don't know if he'd be able to catch him. But as this goes along over the next couple weeks, because we're 12 days away from this, I wonder if you read the backlash, because he was trending number 2 in the world for 2 days on this interview, and I understand why. I haven't seen anything like it besides Biden, but Biden's an age thing, right? He's 80 years old. That is understandable at 80 years old. We had 45 years of, Biden being able to give proper speeches and everything else while in politics, whereas this is bad. And if I was betting, if it was on mybookie.com, again, promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles your deposit, I would bet that they call off this debate on the 25th. And to your point, though, if they did, then it would only add more fuel to the fire of everybody else who's saying this guy shouldn't be there. So he might be forced into it right now. It's so tricky to say, man. And doing this, I just would not. If I was his camp, I would have stepped far away from all of this. I wouldn't have done the debate, nothing. His in-person rallies seem to be effective. Delco talked about it a few times on the show, how he's a union guy. And it's like, if you would have stuck to that, and I think stuck to the message of, hey, I'm going to get better with the stroke and everything. My neurons are going to start firing or whatever as it goes along. And you stuck to those in-person rallies. That probably would have been the best strategy. Now this is a national story, and I would be real shocked if Dr. Oz doesn't win Pennsylvania now.
Yeah, I said that several months ago.
Well, that was before I saw any of this. And if you stay silent like Biden did, and you just stay out of public view, you give yourself a way better shot. Now he's front and center, and I don't know how you elect this guy.
I don't think he can skip the debate. That would be bad.
Yes.
That would be like talking a bunch of shit and telling a guy to meet you after school and not showing up.
And then, because the last memory you would have as a voter in Pennsylvania is this interview. And that's it. But maybe the debate will be even worse. I don't know. Either way, if it's televised, I'm watching that shit.
Yeah, and I told you before, for Oz, the best thing he can do in that debate is try to fluster homeboy because he's not going to be able to speak properly. Not just about the rapidity of his speech from Oz. I mean, he doesn't have to rapid fire or anything like that. Just get under his skin a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, you may think that's unethical to try to expose a guy's weakness, physical weakness like that. And maybe it would be if it was if he was in a wheelchair and you were talking shit about him being able to get up the stairs to the debate room.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a person's ability to think and communicate, it should be exposed.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking point of this, is to decide whether or not these people are fit for office.
Or if you're Fetterman, do you lean in and come out to Billy Squires, stroke me, and I mean, just really give it like the union fist in the air, stroke me. And I think stroke, the audience screams stroke back to him. I think that would be electric.
I think his physical activity is limited by the stroke.
Is it?
Yeah, strokes are caused by like blood clots or constricted blood vessels or something like that, and high stress environments or physical activity can make it worse. You know what I mean?
I might be living one then. But yeah, I let him come out to Billy Squire and then see what happens. Go try to make it a fun event. Maybe put a bouncy castle up there and kind of keep the distractions going. You could also say your computer's not working, you know? But it was a very Stephen Hawking-esque type of interview, and it was very strange to see. And truthfully, like, you know, I feel bad for the guy. I'm sure it was his dream to be a senator and to get this far. And to my knowledge, it's the first person in gym shorts and a hoodie, no socks and just some tennies, going out to the people and trying to get in office. And up until the stroke, he was doing pretty goddamn good. And now your dream is crushed by something you can't control.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but Thomas Jefferson actually wore gym shorts and a hoodie pretty much everywhere he went.
But he wasn't in the play, right?
No.
Yes, I don't give a shit. If you weren't in that play by Lin-Manuel Miranda, I don't really care.
Everybody in that play were losers.
Were they?
Alexander Hamilton never actually held office that he wasn't appointed to. He never won an election. You know what I mean? So... and then he also fucking got clipped by the vice president of the United States, which is, you know, if you're going to die, I guess that's one way to do it.
Sure. But he won a Golden Globe, and he wasn't around to see it, and he raps, too. Did you know that? Did you know that he raps and he does dances and sings?
I know that he tried to, behind the scenes, start a conflict between General Washington, his officers, and the Continental Congress, right? So the officers hadn't been paid yet, and he tried to foment rebellion amongst the officers of the Continental Army to say that they were going to march their armies to Philadelphia to the Capitol and demand their pay. And George Washington told him to go fuck himself. I
believe in the musical that song was called "Cut for Time."
Is it in the blooper reel? Is it in the deleted scenes?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's in the scenes
outtakes?
that Miranda decided to read like the fucking cliff notes on Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. It was basically, you know exactly how that fucking idea came up. These woke cunts were like, oh, this dude's from somewhere other than America and he fucking served in America. Go, we should do a play. What about Lafayette? He was an incredible human being. He was a 24-year-old general in the Continental Army. He is one of the people more responsible certainly than Alexander Hamilton for us winning the Revolutionary War. And he came over here as a fucking volunteer just to hang out because he liked the idea of liberty. That might be a good guy to do a fucking play about.
And he was 19.
Not sexy enough.
But he is French.
Yeah,
which
not
is
sexy enough.
Gross.
It is.
So.
And France is still being France, by the way.
Yeah, it's an Olive Garden font.
It is.
It's the fucking, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Somebody in the chat asking us our T-shirts here. These are the new tees, the Drinkin' Bros tees on the store. Go to drinkinbros.com. It's the Olive Garden. The Drinkin' Bros, when you're here, you're family. Okay?
Yeah.
You're family. When you come in here, we feed you. We give you hard AF seltzers until you black out. We do all the things in here.
We've got a life-size Vin Diesel in the back.
We sure do.
It's a sex doll.
Yeah.
To be fair,
but after having enough of those, you want to go fuck Vin Diesel.
Well, it's got a sensor in it, and anytime you come inside it goes family.
So. Also, we had a listener come in today for Ross Patterson Revolution. First time this has ever happened. If you can cut to Dan's side, cut to his single there. I wonder if it's angles out of it. We'll go to the wide. Go to the wide real quick. There you go. So the top box, that Jameson, the 18-year-old bottle of Jameson up there, he goes, hey, so my wife has to go to the gym and we've got kids, this is her time. I got to go home, but I want to drink this with you guys. Will you save it until I come back? And I was like, yeah, dude, we're not going to just pound it on air.
Should we just get lockers for people to keep their booze here? Like a goddamn cigar club?
I love it. I told him, I said, look, we'll keep it up on set. We'll keep it top left. When you come back, we'll all drink it together. He's going to stop back in. I think Jared's on tomorrow.
Yep.
He's going to stop back in tomorrow. So we won't touch it until then. But don't worry, it's safe. The only thing we actually had to hide was that bottle of Pappy.
Yeah.
And not from anybody here that directly works here. It was one of the Giggle Boys. It was Eli. I was like, that dumb shit's going to fucking crack it open and drink it. But
you never know. He goes on like 6 months of not drinking too.
Yeah, so but then when he goes on a bender, he goes on a bender.
Yeah, it's a matter of when you catch him, I guess.
Sure is. Sure is. Next up, this episode is brought to you by Pfizer. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. It's definitely not brought to you by Pfizer. Oh, Pfizer. If you'll recall, and how could you not, the entire media establishments, government, and, Twitter, their whole blue checkmark brigade spent late 2020 and 21 stating the vaccine stopped the spread of transmission. We now know this isn't true. It was never true. And this is one of the primary messages used to get people to take it, I guess. So I've been seeing people bitch about this on Twitter. What is it? What did they find in these Pfizer studies here?
Well, there was no study. So as it turns out, not only was it never true that any of the vaccines stopped transmission, Pfizer didn't even test for it. So at a European, I can't remember the organization. It was a European Commission meeting the other day. The CEO of Pfizer was asked if at any point, any of their vaccines that were delivered, the EUA one or the one that was FDA approved, were ever tested to see if they actually stopped the transmission of the virus, and she said no. So this idea that was propagated that it was a vaccinated or a pandemic of the unvaccinated, that it was selfish of you not to get vaccinated, to blah, blah, blah. People lost their jobs, their livelihoods. They lost standing in their communities. They had their money stolen by organizations like GoFundMe, right? For all this bullshit. And none of it was ever real. They didn't even, not only did they not know whether it was real or not, they didn't even check. They just said it.
Well, here's my guess on this is I think just saying, look, take the vaccine. It'll prevent you from, hospitalization and all that other stuff. That probably wasn't sexy enough, and that probably wasn't going to get people out to do it. So therefore, they had to say this will stop the virus altogether.
Sure, but think about the thinking behind that. If they truly believed that it would save people, right, stop transmission or whatever, then maybe in some fucked up morbid way you could justify that. But that wasn't it. They were just trying to sell units to the government. That's it. They were just trying to make record what did they make, like $28 billion last year or some shit?
Gnarly.
Like all they were trying to do was convince or pressure enough of the public to do something so that when the government forced them to do it, it would be marginally acceptable by most people. That's all that was. It's called manufacturing consent. And this is one of the biggest crimes against humanity in the history of the fucking world. This probably is the biggest breach of public trust ever for human beings.
Because this affected everybody around the globe, not just one individual country, and not just like a war with Ukraine and Russia, where it's like, all right, great, there's two parties involved.
And not even just the forced vaccination stuff, but the largest distribution of wealth from the lower and middle class to the upper class in the history of the world happened, right? All of your power is gone. We're now deep in a fucking recession because of it. We're going to have a global depression sometime pretty soon because of it. And also these fucking rich cunts could fucking steal your money and then force inject you with experimental medication.
Let me ask you this. Do you think they were all in on it, like Moderna, Pfizer, all
100%,
So you think behind the scenes, the CEOs got together and they're like, look, man, I don't care if it's yours or mine, but we've got to keep this money train going?
I don't know that you even have to have that meeting. Why do you have to say out loud what all these cunts have been doing for years already?
Yeah. Not sure. I'm waiting for the doc on this one to come out in about 5 years.
Well, what you
because
should-
they're going to expose this at some point.
There will be some lawsuits, but to be honest, the real loss, aside from all of the stuff we've discussed already, is the lack of public trust in institutions that are designed to protect us, right? Mm-hmm. This is the biggest cry wolf ever, and the next time something happens, nobody's going to pay attention, nor should they. And there's also going to come a point sometime, like if you think about it, when societies collapse, there are groups of people or ideologies or elements inside the government or industries that the mob attacks and murders immediately after society's institutions collapse, right? And if you're somebody that made your money in government, like if you're a politician, or if you're somebody that made your money in medicine like this, in a couple of years when fucking shit goes sideways, they're all getting wiped the fuck out first. Like it's going to be bulls on fucking parade, and you're not going to have anything of any real value to offer people to protect you at that point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is the same thing that happens every time every empire falls. It always happens the same fucking way.
Yeah.
All of these aristocratic folks or titans of industry who have taken advantage of people always get murked as soon as fucking shit falls apart.
Well, with Pfizer here, I guess what's your next move, right? Because nobody's taking. You said it a couple weeks ago. Would you say 4% of people are taking booster shots at this point? Like, so it's pretty much all done.
There will be a class action lawsuit against Pfizer pretty soon, probably. I would say before the end of next year it'll start, and they'll probably pay out somewhere between $10 and $15 billion in penalties, if I had to guess.
And they won't care. Nope. It's the same way with Facebook and all those guys, where you make so much money that you can pay out the lawsuits, and you're like, great, it's worth the risk. Who gives a shit? We'll just pay out these lawsuits. Because some of it is insured money too. So it's not going to come off of just the profits. It'll come from the insurance that they have as well. And again, I'm waiting for this Netflix doc in about 5 years to come out and see what it actually shakes out as and what people think about this in the future. You know, because right now we're, what would you say, 6 months out of it at this point, kind of. I mean, there's even, if you're filming in LA still, you're still wearing masks. There's still places where you're still wearing masks. I was watching that Trevor Noah Goodbye the other night on the Daily Show. By the way, he's getting out of there December 8th. They're going to have him work midterms, and they're going to get him right the fuck on out of there.
No one fucking cares about that guy.
No. And with that, you know, fuck, dude. Looking back at all of it, like, that night, he said goodbye. They were all wearing masks. I'm trying to think. He obviously wasn't. I think his crew members were, but his correspondents weren't. And it's like, how do you sit in the same room and then tell all these people to wear masks, and then you're not going to do it? Like, what's the thing for that? And then when they all stood up to clap for him leaving, they're all wearing these huge, like, horse feed bags on still. And it's like, you've been out of that for a long time. It's fucking wild, man, across the board.
Yeah, this is definitely the dumbest point in human history.
I think it's going to get worse.
Sure, yeah.
Because let's say you throw, like we just talked about, Fetterman. Let's say he gets in, right? Let's say Herschel Walker gets in. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these other. Why not? I mean, the country's just going to get worse at that point, right? Because all those people are dumb enough that it's kind of the party voting for them. Just like you were saying earlier about Biden and all those guys being a puppet. But maybe that's what everybody wants, right? Let's just get these dumb idiots in there, and then we can kind of just control their vote, because they're not going to have any real thoughts of their own, except for Herschel Walker, obviously. But
well, he can at least be a lead blocker or something, right? Or maybe catch a couple of passes out in the flat. I don't know.
Well, when the bill becomes a law, just like in the cartoon movie, somebody's going to have to run it up the stairs, right? Isn't that him? He's going to have it folded up underneath his arm.
I was kind of hoping Sly would be involved in that.
Sly.
Yeah.
It's not too late. He's doing a reality show. We'll see. And if you're watching it, hopefully you're watching it from a ghost bed, from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. 30% off a mattress and 2 free luxury pillows with that. You're getting 30% off that deal. Luxury pillows are not cheap. So that's a deal, man. And those are just as good as the goddamn mattress. So that's a big boy move right there from GhostBed. Get it while it's still there. They don't do that very often. It might end next week. Check it out on the website. But I know this, you get 30% off everything with the promo code Drinkin' Bros at checkout. So let's say you get a mattress or an adjustable base or the sheets or this lovely cover we have here. In case you're doing butt stuff, type in that promo code Drinkin' Bros at checkout and get 30% off at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. You get 40% off with the bundle package, which is the adjustable base and the mattress combined together. Super sleek remotes. That is going to be, I'll probably watch that Fetterman debate in that. Pop that bitch up in TV mode and watch that shit all night long. Once you have the adjustable base, you'll never go back. And they've also got a split king. I want to mention that because there is people who sleep differently or go to bed earlier than others. You can get that split king adjustable base as well. So that way your side goes up. Maybe you're still watching the Braves game that night while your wife is sleeping. Her side goes down. It's a nice thing at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. And at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a 60-month pay-as-you-go program. No interest as long as you have decent credit. Check that box. All the deals I mentioned are applicable with that. You can walk out of there with a brand new bedroom set for about $25 a month at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros.
I fully expect Fetterman to be in a ghost bed for this whole interview.
Oh, for the debate?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Why not?
Maybe.
And make it weird, too. Like, after every question, go back into flat mode, right? And then when you get asked a question, you hit the button to put you in book mode. And it's like that. It's like when with Dr. Evil, when he kept trying to get a hold of his cat, and the guy was trying to take it from him, and he kept pulling him away, and he had to scoot back over. Just like awkward pauses like that, I think are really effective.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. But thinking about that from a logistics standpoint, where do you put this screen? I guess it can't be. Is it going to be right in front of him like a computer? I think the print would probably be too small.
It'll be. I mean, that's what he was using before. Is just a laptop. I assume he's just going to have a laptop in front of him on the podium. Which is interesting because
that's dangerous. Man.
Is Apple going to pay him to use theirs?
Maybe, or does he use Microsoft because of Bill Gates?
I don't know that he would. I don't know. I don't actually know how Bill Gates votes. I doubt he does, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's a Gates fan or a Jobs fan?
I think Bill Gates thinks he's above everything, all of this.
Yeah.
Like his job is to use his money and power to reshape the world in the way that he thinks is appropriate, right? And those kind of people need to be executed. Frankly.
Well, it's a Christ-like figure, you know, and
Christ,
he's taken the
Christ sacrificed himself, right? Not everybody else. That's the difference.
Next up, Yeezy walks. He's walking away from his bank. Kanye West is a crazy person. Obviously, it appears that he's off his meds. By now, everybody's heard about the Twitter fiasco, the odd defense of his behavior by Candace Owens, and now Chase is obviously cutting ties with him and his bank accounts. And you probably heard the interview he did with Tucker Carlson.
Well, you heard some of it.
Some of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it was edited out, but to be fair, I think that they couldn't show a 4-hour interview. Like he'll talk until you stop him from talking.
Sure, yeah, but the stuff they decided not to show was a little alarming.
Okay, so I didn't get to see that interview at all the other night. I believe you and I were on the phone, and they were like, hey, they're going to put him on Tucker Carlson. I was heading home with the kids from baseball. What did he say that was that crazy that they edited out of this?
I mean, there's a lot, to be honest. We could do a whole show on it.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad? Well, I mean, look, unless you stop him from talking, he'll just keep talking. And it seems like just thoughts that are going on in his mind that don't really have any
stream of consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. So
no
no
connectors in there.
Here's some highlights. Let's see.
Who found this, by the way?
To be honest, I think that the editorial team of Tucker's released it.
Okay. After his statements about Jews and all that stuff?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But I don't know that for sure. So I've been on the show before. I don't want to imply that I've talked to somebody and know that. That just seems like what makes sense to me because Fox is pretty good about this wasn't a cell phone camera in the corner of the room recording him and all this other stuff. It's the actual video that was shot. So just, using basic human intelligence, I can tell that somebody from the team released it and there was an intent behind that.
Okay, so I'll read some of these quotes to you that are on here. You tell me if this is real because this seems nuts. I have not seen this. Yay. I refuse to call him that. Kanye said Planned Parenthood was founded to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean who the people known as the race black really are. He said in some of the clips, this is who our people are. What does he mean by that? That all black people are Jewish?
Well, that's one of the conspiracy theories that we discussed the other day, the black Israelite thing.
It is, but this was unrelated to this Tucker Carlson interview. So why does he keep saying it? Is that he's all in on this? That's what he believes in?
To be honest, dude, I don't fucking know because he's a crazy person.
Right.
He also said that he complained to Tucker that his children were attending a school which celebrates Kwanzaa, which isn't real, and he says he prefers to celebrate Hanukkah.
Okay.
Which is odd because he's not a Jew. Right.
Well, if you're black, according to Kanye, you're a Jew. You're a Jewish person.
No, he says, I prefer my kids' new Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering. So basically, take a bunch of casual racism. Yeah. Take all the casual racism that you've heard of and cram it into an interview. And that's basically what that interview with Tucker Carlson was. He also said that he was vaccinated against COVID, despite his previous comments that said that the shots were demonic and part of a plot to implement chips into people. And then there was a clip of him saying that fake children were planted in his home to influence and manipulate his own children.
Who were the fake children?
Like midgets? Or what the fuck is this guy talking about?
What do we got there, Giorgio?
Actors?
Yeah, little actors, little child actors.
Yeah,
like David Hogg, crisis actor.
Boy, but let's go deep with this, right? Let's say you were Kim. You're going through this divorce. It's not finalized yet. Do you hire child actors and kind of shove them in where it's like, hey, Kanye, you got the kids today. By the way, they're the kids' buddies. I know you haven't been to the preschool. They're coming over. They're going to hang. Do you hire child actors to go in there and say a bunch of crazy shit to Kanye?
Kim doesn't. Chris does.
Yeah. And honestly, can you imagine an easier person to gaslight than Kanye West?
Oh, yeah.
No, it'd be great. Man, it might be Kris Jenner.
It would take 8 minutes to drive him literally insane.
Yeah.
And some
you train those kids to go in there and say Nikes are better.
You don't even have to do that. You just have to have a horse, a horse walk by, and
that microphone.
Yeah, and you just have a horn taped to it.
He just doesn't know how to speak into a microphone.
No, it's the mic. Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Just flip the switch. It's so fucking easy.
The infighting at this point is the only reason I show up to work now.
And maybe that's what the fake kids were doing to Kanye's kids.
Ooh, I like that.
The house where you're setting up little fights. Who's to say Delco didn't short out the mic for Bob just so he would fucking lose it, dude, towards the end of the week?
Yeah, it's funny. You just got gaslit in a fucking scenario where you were trying to explain how easy it is to gaslight somebody else.
100%.
How does that make you feel?
Enraged and insane.
Now, welcome to Kanye's mind.
I gotta go find a Jew.
Yeah, but the difference is, and it's something that in a USA Today article about this whole situation, a clinical psychologist mentioned. There are a lot of people that have mental health issues who don't manifest that in ways that include just saying a bunch of racist shit. You know what I mean?
Right. I think in this case, and this is clearly a mental issue, and the rumor is, behind the scenes, all of his friends are saying he's off his meds and no one can talk to him anymore because this has happened multiple times over the course of the last 10 years. In particular after his mom died. Why are people like Tucker Carlson giving him a platform anymore to even talk shit like this? Because that's a tough one too, right? Where it's like, Tucker, like I know it's ratings.
Well,
I know the ratings will be great, but how do you
Yeah.
put them on television anymore?
Tucker's an entertainer, so I guess I get it from that perspective. I'm not sure. I mean, it's the conservative fascination, I guess, with anybody that's left the left or that is in a group that isn't typically right, that is in the right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is maybe it's just a branding thing. I don't know, but ultimately, Tucker's people, at least so far as I can tell, it looks like they released this stuff, and it is what it is now. But for Candace Owens is continuing to defend in a lot of ways. Like what he's actually saying is, and you can just stop it right there, honey.
Right.
You can just stop it right there. But she's actually the result. She's Kanye before Kanye, right? So she was a total leftist, and then, had this alleged epiphany, which when people tell a story like that, I was deep into the cult of leftism and then fucking finally woke up. I'm like, that's the least, nothing you could say would make me respect you as a human being less than what you just said to me.
Right.
Like, you were an adult human being and you got convinced of all this shit and made a career out of it, and then you flip-flopped at the career because you knew, like, hey, there's less barrier to entry over here. You know what I mean? It's all bullshit. It's bullshit.
So my final verdict on the Kanye thing is...
Like, the fucking Hodge twins
Yeah.
are conservatives.
Yes.
Hillbillies from fucking Virginia.
Yep.
They are legit.
Yeah.
Candace Owens is full of shit.
I've never listened to Candace Owens, to be honest.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, because she was on. I actually was talking to my wife about this earlier. Like, the only things that we've heard is when we've done stuff with the Blaze, because she was on the Blaze before, and I was like, "What's she like as a person?" They all said she was a lovely person, but as far as whatever goes on in real life, I have no idea. I have nothing Hollywood-wise on Candace Owens. I know nothing about her actually.
Mike McDonald's in the chat.
The Michael McDonald?
It's Mike. I don't know if he goes by Mike now.
Cry sweet freedom, cry aloud on me. You keep hearing love. Maybe it is Michael McDonald.
It could be, yeah. I mean, what else has he got going on?
Tell me if it is. I've always wanted to have the Doobie Brothers on the show.
Who are these cocksuckers?
We got some Drinkin' Bros here in the studio here. They said they were popping by today because we need help with the fucking plumbing and everything else, electrical. We've bitched about it on the show, and then we put it up on a message board, and we were like, hey, these people in Austin fucking suck. And then we got some Drinkin' Bros, and they're here. So maybe we'll get a sink by the end of the week. It would be nice. But yeah, we'll bring you guys up at the end of the show for Drinkin' Bro of the Week, and we'll go over our Austin problems with you, because there's been a lot in this goddamn town, and it's only getting worse. The Californians are moving in, and everybody out there, if you're living in Texas, better get your Kershaw knives, because the Californians are moving in. You don't know what's going to happen. It's our next sponsor. That is Kershaw. That is Kershaw.kaiusa.com. Use promo code DB20 for 20% off at Kershaw.kaiusa.com. And orders over $100 ship for free. You've got the knife there, right?
This is my daily carry. It's
Boom.
Kind of a mildly hooked, auto-loaded blade. Very nice.
Kershaw is some of the best in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And we're lucky to have them on the program. Shocked that they wanted to be on a program like this. They're almost too classy for us.
I'm not shocked, because if you look right on the side of their blades here, there's a fucking American flag. And it's not just an American flag. It's one that flies on the right shoulder, right? So a lot of people have asked in uniform, why does the flag look backwards on your shoulder? And it's because that's where you hold it when you're running forward, when you're moving forward, right?
Right.
And they have the military combat style American flag on here, and nothing says that like this dude right here.
Yeah, dude. They've been making knives in the USA since 1974. They employ approximately 400 in their staff in their U.S. headquarters and their factory. Designed, tested, manufactured, all in the U.S. of A. No matter what somebody's budget is, they strive to offer you value. And it's backed with a limited lifetime warranty, from a $20 Walmart special for somebody first starting out to $200 USA-made automatics like D'Anthony has here. I think that's one of the mid-range ones. It's probably, about $90 for that, somewhere in there. They offer free replacement parts like a pocket clip, screws, all for free. All a customer needs to do is fill out a parts request from their form on their website. Use code DB20 for 20% off at kershaw.kaiusa.com. That is kershaw.kaiusa.com. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Amped to have you on the show. It's nice to have some classy sponsors. We've Ghostman, we have Kershaw. Automatic, dude. Fully automatic. If it isn't automatic these days, brother, you can't trust it. Yeah. You can't trust it. Next up, we're talking about racism in LA. It's been a big story this week. And what they thought was a private conversation. Some of the most powerful people in Los Angeles politics gathered to discuss the city's once every decade redistricting process, which is always fucking brutal. The conversation, which focused heavily on council members' frustration with maps that had been proposed by the city's 21-member redistricting commission, included racist remarks. Big shock.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, a couple of other people said some weird shit, but primarily it was Nuri Martinez, who's the former now president of the council.
She stepped down,
who's had to resign. But, man, it's like it ranges from some casual racism to like shit talking that you might hear between an Italian and an Irish working class dude.
Yeah.
In like Eastern Pennsylvania or some shit like that. Just talking shit. You know what I mean? Which is kind of a weird thing to do in this day and age in Los Angeles amongst other fucking progressive politicians. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
This story was strange. When this came out and this broke, I heard the full audio because I was like, I don't want to hear clips on Twitter or whatever. It's like, all right, I'll tune into the nightly news with David Muir and listen to the full transcript from this. And this was a long conversation. And it was racist not only against blacks, but also against white people too, which was weird.
And other Latinos,
Latinxers
groups,
because they love being called Latinx.
She said that so there's a white council member that has a black son. I don't know if it's adopted or if it's a mixed race child or something like that that they have with their spouse. But she said that his young black son, he used him like an accessory, basically.
Yes.
And then she referred to him as I don't know how to say this word. Paris, P-A-R-E-C-E, Paris Chinguito, which means like a monkey.
Parisi Chinguito. I don't know. I just made that
like a monkey. She also mocked Oaxacan Mexicans, saying, fuck that guy. He's with the blacks.
Yep.
And then, let's see. She said, go get to the airport from his little brother, that little bitch Bonin. She particularly didn't like Mike Bonin, who is the white dude with the black child, I believe. And then when she was attempting to identify Irene Ebronosian,
good luck with that one.
Who's Ebronosian is how you say it. Who's a Rick Caruso campaign advisor. Rick Caruso is running for mayor of LA. She said, "What's his name? What's he look like? He's the guy with one eyebrow." And he's Armenian, I would imagine, by the last name. So probably accurate, to be honest. But you know, describing other ethnic groups by their fate or by their features is typically not a great idea.
So homegirl thought this was a private setting, and she was going off.
But what does it tell you about the standard conversation that happens behind closed doors there? You know what I mean?
Exactly. What I thought immediately was that this probably goes on at all of these fucking places, and we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
And the manner in which she was speaking, because it's intent, right? A lot of this is intent. We talk about this on the show a lot. And the way you say certain words or describe certain people, if it is in a casual conversation that you think is private, you can tell she talks like this every fucking day to everybody.
Definitely honest. And, you know, I wonder... frankly, this has been an educational experience for me. I feel a lot like Cartman when he went on that fucking ride. What was it called? Bob, do you remember that?
It was at the Museum of Tolerance.
Yeah, the Museum of Tolerance.
Yeah.
They were basically making fun of the It's a Small World ride, which up until like fucking 12 hours ago still had rice patty hats and fucking slanty eyed
Oh, is that
Chinese
gone?
people. I think they changed it like
God
two years
damn it.
ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Finally.
All right.
But yeah, I didn't know how many different types of Mexicans there were.
It's a lot.
There's like fucking Oaxacans, Tejanos.
Yep.
I didn't realize, like, I know a lot of fucking Mexican people. There's
Yeah.
a fucking ton of my friends, a ton of Mexican people I knew in the military. And then, of course, other Hispanics and Latinos. And I knew about all of them, and there's differences between them and some rivalries here and there. I had no idea there were this many different groups of Mexicans who apparently don't like each other.
Oh, they do not.
I didn't understand. And Chicanos is another one. Yeah, that's more like out west.
Yep.
I didn't know any of this stuff. And now this is opening up a whole new level of racism for me.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? I feel like Kanye and this woman need to hook up.
Yeah.
And she needs to educate him on he's just stuck on Jews. There's so many other people to hate.
No, there's a lot out there. I think it was Disgustin' Justin who educated me on it, where I was like going through the different versions of Latinos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say versions as in different countries, I guess. But like
But
Mexicans,
these aren't countries. These are regions in
right,
Mexico.
within the country, right? But then beyond that, then they don't like people from other countries, where it's like, hey, dude, like Spaniards don't want to be compared to Mexicans.
Sure.
Cubans don't want to be compared to Dominican. Like, I mean, there was a whole pecking order laundry list. And I was like,
I think it's Dominican and Puerto Rican that don't like each other.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure Cubans. They've been under socialism for so long. They just want to get the fuck out. I don't know.
Right. They just don't want to be compared to it for some reason. But none of this was. This thing wasn't crazy shocking. Switching back and forth from English, if you listen to this interview, switching back and forth from English to Spanish with a whole table full of people, that didn't really make any sense to me. Like, keep it all in Spanish or keep it all in English, but there were certain words she was using, like inflections, to really drive the racism home on certain things. And I was like, oh, that must be in your culture, because that's not what it is here.
Well, that's
obviously.
like writing in italics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to put a little stank on it. So keep that in mind.
She definitely did that.
Yeah.
And she's out of a job. Not that it's really going to matter. What does an LA city council person make? 60?
No, they probably make, let's look it up, but I would imagine they probably make 120 to 150K a year.
You think so? Because usually in a
it's Los Angeles, bro.
I'm assuming you got like a underhand deal with a car dealership.
Oh my God.
What is it?
$207,000
What?
per year.
For a LA city council person?
Yes, and she was
the
a
president.
high-ranking one.
She was the president, yeah. So I'm sure she made more.
Fuck.
She probably made $250,000 a year.
Okay,
Why don't we take those jobs?
How many people are in LA City? Like 12 million?
Yeah, 12 to 13 million.
I mean, that's bigger than most states. This is like This is like a state or even country, like federal for some tiny countries. So I mean, like I was looking it up when they were talking about defund the police like a million years ago.
Yeah,
I was looking up. I want to say the LA County Sheriff's Office has a bigger budget than like the Netherlands military.
No shit.
Yeah, but what does the Netherlands need a military for?
Right. As we like to say on Softcore History, they're not in the game.
Well,
They were once
the
upon a
Netherlands
time.
is trying to keep the otherlands away. So I understand that, Bob. But I did not know that job paid that much.
I got to be honest. Growing up, I thought the Netherlands was some kind of reference to your genital area.
Yeah, I thought there was a big white dog that flew over it.
Because I was stupid and I read it Netherlands and Nether region. I'm like, oh, so this is just like a fancy way of saying my cock and nuts.
Right.
It turns out that's not true. It's an actual country.
Yeah, I mean, the best country name is still Greenland. Like, that's what it is. It's just Greenland.
What
and
about,
it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like China, man. How can you be offended by that?
I don't know.
If somebody called me like, oh, American man in some kind of Chinese accent or something, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm from America and I'm a man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Did I just get insulted here?
But
What's
for
happening?
us, we're the United States of America. We are definitely not united.
No, well, if
Should
they called
be
me
something else now.
If they called me United Man, I might get pissed off. Hold on, I'm looking at the LA Times.
We should just run. I mean, look, the weather's better than Texas. The property taxes are cheaper there. Maybe we can change it and give LAPD a huge budget. Maybe you and I could turn that fucking place around.
There's a legislative analyst on LA's budget for their council, for their city council, that makes $256,803 per year.
Holy fucking shit. What do they do?
A legislative analyst.
Okay. So they just go through.
A lawyer?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to read between the lines. It's just a lawyer, right? That kind of just spell checks what their new laws and legislations are.
Absolutely got to be a lawyer.
Whoa, dude. We're in the wrong profession, brother. Man, fuck. That's
well, I mean,
nuts.
you don't want to be a cunt.
Well, you don't have to be. You can say all the non-racist stuff in the room and just kind of say, look, man, we want to fund the police. We want to give LA a shit ton of money for police. We want to keep the weather. We want to burn homeless people alive, to keep warm in the winter. Whatever you have to say, you could really clean up that city pretty easy, if you just got in there.
It looks like
took over.
It looks like she made $283,000 a year there as the president of the city council.
Holy shit! I mean, that's great even for LA. That's great anywhere.
That's not bad. I mean,
fuck. That's wild.
Especially
man.
when you got that government credit card.
No shit. I mean, because then all your everything, lunches, dinners, everything's paid for. Cars, security. Son of a bitch, man. That's it. That's the move. Why are people running for other shit? I think a senator gets 175.
No, it's like 2 something for Senate. I think,
Bob,
isn't it?
would Bob go shit his pants?
He's jacking off.
He did, yeah.
All right.
He's been jacking off several times a day.
We ate the Valero today.
Oh, he did too?
Yeah.
Man.
Wait, has this stomach flu been just a cover for Bob's jacking off?
Could be.
Maybe. I mean, how many times have you made excuses to go pound off?
A lot.
Yeah.
Have you pound off here?
I have.
Have you not?
Hey.
Man.
I'm not right now.
So remember that story we told a couple of weeks ago about how a friend of ours booked hotels in New York and it got fucking canceled?
Yeah.
It was Lauren. She's in the chat
Yeah, I
now. She says she just got confirmation that the hotel did indeed cancel for illegal immigrants.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's dope.
Well, it's not shocking. Lauren, it's the occupancy, okay? If you can keep them in there forever, then you can charge the government your full fee, and all the rooms are filled now. Is anybody going to want to work there? Probably not. But does that matter? No. It matters that we have illegal immigrants staying in a nicer hotel than you are, Lauren, and I'm sorry that happened to you, okay? And what you need to do is go to buyraycon.com/drinkingbros today and get 15% off some dope-ass headphones so you can shut out the world and just listen to this all goddamn day long, all right? This is your next move. Go to buyraycon.com/drinkingbros today. I love Raycon headphones more than life itself, and 3 for 3 on ads. I have no problem promoting Raycon until the day that I die. It's the best headphones I've ever had, to be honest with you. You know what the fucking real issue is, since we're being real here today? I used to have a pair of Beats back in the day. They were too goddamn small. Like, they were too tiny for my head and everything else. And then I obviously hate AirPods. Those fall out all the goddamn time. Raycon's the only one that figures it out, where it's like they'll ship you like 90 rubber pieces to stick in your ears. That way, no matter what your ear hole is, it'll stay in there. They look, feel, and sound better than ever, damn it, to those wireless headphones. With optimized gel tips, that's the real term, not rubber pieces. I'm just a dummy out here. Trying to simplify. This is optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit. These earbuds are so comfortable, and they will not budge. Trust me. Raycon gives you 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours of battery life, and they're priced just right. Look, man, these are probably not only the best headphones I've had, they're the only ones under, $100 probably. The Bose and the Beats and all that bullshit is like $350. Like, fuck that. These are cheap, and they work, they last forever, and they last longer. Raycons, they have 50,000 5-star reviews? I'm looking at their website now. I mean, they're killing it. They're killing the game.
Definitely the best.
Yes.
That I've used.
They've got 3 customizable sound profiles. They got earbud tap functions, the noise isolations, the awareness mode. These are the best in the biz across the board. We've got like 90 of them everywhere. I only got to wear these dumb things for a podcast, but otherwise, in real life, if you catch me in these streets, it's always Raycon. If you see me in the airport on Saturday, it's just Raycon. That's it. Go to buyraycon.com/drinkingbros today and use the promo code DrinkinBros to get 15% off your Raycon order. That is buyraycon.com/DrinkinBros. Use promo code DrinkinBros to score 15% off at buyraycon.com/DrinkinBros. Promo code DrinkinBros. Huge fan of these guys and much continued success. Each model they come out with is better than the other ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I hope this company lasts forever. If something happens to them, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
I think that... what if politicians had eligibility years the same way that college athletes do, and then they can't monetize? Let's go back to 2 years ago where they can't monetize that until after they leave, and then they're not able to ever come back again.
Yeah, that's the way it should work.
Right.
Yeah. Because let's see, in California, we had Jerry Brown was the governor.
Twice.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit, and he sucked the first time. And then he said, 15 or 20 years later, you know what? I was so awful that first time. What if I came back and did it again?
Well, he was like the mayor of Oakland.
Yeah, dude, and the people were dumb enough to do it.
Yeah.
They had him back in there. I fully agree with that. You're done, you're all done, and that's it. Take care. Bye-bye. But we'll never do that, let's face it, dude. We're a country full of fucking idiots.
Well, who's going to vote for it? Like it would have to be a ballot measure that people voted on, because Congress sure as shit isn't going to vote to take money away from themselves.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Next up, OPEC. Well, they ended up butt-fucking Biden here. President Joe Biden pledged on Tuesday there will be consequences for U.S. relations with Saudi Arabia after OPEC announced last week it would cut its oil production targets over U.S. objections. His announcement came a day after powerful Democratic Senator Bob Menendez, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said the United States must immediately freeze all cooperation with Saudi Arabia, including arms sales.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why are we selling weapons to Saudi Arabia, the country actually responsible for 9/11 in the fucking first place?
We need that money, dog. You need that money. That's Saudi money.
How many of the weapons that we've sold to Saudi Arabia have been used to kill Americans?
It's a great question. It is a great question. No one cares. It's just about money. And even this, did you see the letter that leaked, by the way?
Yeah, the guy drew a dick at so it was one of the Saudi royal family members, and he was like, fuck you. But it was F-U-K. They don't speak English well.
Right.
So it's F-U-K-U, and then he just drew a big cock at the bottom with a lot of hair on it.
Yeah.
You could tell. Well, actually, I don't know this for sure, but we should do some research one day. Can you tell the nationality of a person based on how they draw a cock?
Great question. Yes, I think so.
Like the amount of hair?
Yes, that is exactly where I was going. The amount of hair.
The ball shape or the dick size. I mean, if it's an Asian one, obviously it's gonna
be a little smaller.
A little smaller.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Jesus fucking Christ,
Dude,
Bob.
It's not me.
Bob, you can't turn on a microphone.
Whatever.
All right.
Look at this. You can tell they're not American if they draw it uncircled.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
An American will draw no hood.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's true.
So I think we need to do this. We had a dick drawing contest, and some people won some merch.
They did, yeah. I haven't seen a good uncircled dick drawing in a while, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I would like to see one. Somebody did one out of Matt Damon's head, but it's a real picture. It wasn't drawn, and it still makes me laugh to this day. I have it saved on my phone, and somebody had peeked over my shoulder in an airport one time, and they were like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh, it's an uncircled Matt Damon head." Like, you understand. I wish we could show this on screen right now. But there was an email sent and a letter about how this was going to affect the midterm elections.
A letter from whom to whom?
Bob, if you can pull that up, it's on Twitter here. Just bring up that OPEC letter. It looked like it was from the UAE. And they had fired it back and said, "Hey, dude, we don't give a fuck about your elections." Dead serious. Like, we don't give a shit about your elections. And everybody was posting it yesterday, this letter that was fired back. And essentially, the Biden administration was asking for this to come down later.
Yeah.
Right? There it is right there, Bob. You can just post it on screen there. It's long and lengthy. We won't get into it. I'll just give you the cliff notes. But it essentially says, hey, there was a phone call where, can we push this till after elections because this is going to drive gas prices up before midterms.
Well, there's already a gas crisis happening in France and Germany right now. Mm-hmm. And it's that one, you often say it's only going to get worse, kind of, offhand, but this one is definitely going to get worse.
Yes.
Because maybe it's not a good idea for Western countries to farm out their energy security to Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have fucking figured that one out?
Weird.
I mean, goddamn, dude. Like, I understand why you would never think to have internal energy security. Why bother? Why bother?
You don't need it.
It's not like there's a direct correlation between energy and fucking quality of life and the ability to stay alive.
No, you're all good. You don't need anything, dude. I think everything's going to be fine. But there was a nice smiling photo of Putin with the head of the Saudi family or whatever that is. I don't know his title over there. But it was a nice fuck you moment to the United States of like, hey, bro, keep sending money to the Ukraine, and we're just going to go ahead and jack up the oil prices, and then you can deal with that back at home. Have fun. Because California, I know, shot up, and then it's slowly moving east. So get your gas while you can, because it's going up and up and up and up, and it's going to happen right before the midterms.
The U.S. has accused Saudi Arabia of kowtowing to Russia here, and there might be some truth to that, I guess.
Oh, it's totally true, right?
Yeah, just like...
But money's money to they don't fucking care.
Yeah, they don't
what do they
care.
give a shit? I'm not surprised by that at all.
The question is, why would any sane person think that Saudi Arabia is an ally to the United States, or even someone that you can rely on in the first place? Of course, a sane person wouldn't think that. Mm-hmm. It's the president who is a fucking demented old cunt, and the entirety of D.C. who only cares about power and money. They don't give a fuck about you. No. Like, if they could take everything from you and still get your vote, they would take every fucking thing you have.
Yes.
The only reason that they allow you to have anything, at least from their perspective, is out of the goodness of their hearts.
Yeah. Just a little bit. We're going to give you a little bit. Just some crumbs. Enjoy your crumbs, but don't take too much.
But to the earlier point about Fetterman, this is what happens when you allow an incompetent, mentally diminished asshole to be in charge.
No.
Because they're never really in charge.
It's somebody else.
It's somebody else. They're either going to fuck everything up, or bad actors use them as puppets. And I think it's a little A, a little B here. Because even when Biden is cognizant, everything he says is fucking stupid.
But what I can't understand is who it is. Because it's definitely not Kamala.
No, it's the World Economic Forum.
You think so?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're the ones that are controlling all these decisions and everything else?
Controlling, no. I mean, it's like advising. And people have bought in, people at the higher levels of government throughout the entire West have bought into globalism. And so when somebody says, hey, this is, I think, how we should handle this, they just do it.
Okay. Well, that's fun, right?
Sure.
Next up, a buddy of ours isn't having any fun. Alex Jones just lost, well, he was ordered to pay $1 billion to the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting victims' relatives and an FBI agent who said he turned their loss and trauma into years of torment by promoting the lie that the rampage was a hoax. Now, we watched right before we came on the show. He actually went live on Louder with Crowder a couple hours before, so I was shocked that YouTube allowed that to go down. Yeah. But it's amazing that Crowder's able to do anything. Like, he's got 6 million subscribers on YouTube, which is fucking crazy. And he had Alex Jones live on air this morning. With this $1 billion, this was added to the other suit that was here in Texas. That was what, $46 million? That was down here.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. The verdict came in defamation lawsuits filed by some of the families of the 26 people who were killed in the 2012 shooting, plus an FBI agent who was among the first responders. Texas jury, that's right, in August awarded $50 million to the parents of another slain child. The question becomes, because we were listening to Crowder earlier, will this be overturned? Is this enforceable? And $1 billion against one human being, we were asking right before we went on air, has that ever happened in the United States before?
Against one person? I don't think so.
I don't think so either, right?
There have been, the only $1 billion settlements I've ever heard of are against other governments, like the Nazis or something like that, or against the pharmaceutical industry, which have dozens of multi-billion-dollar lawsuits. Or I guess Big Tobacco was one. I think that was $32 billion, something like that.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly, but...
shit. It was Orkin, I think. Wasn't it the spray?
The pesticide?
Pesticide, yeah.
Monsanto, maybe.
Yeah, like $2 billion or something.
Could have been, yeah.
But that was giving cancer to like hundreds and thousands of people. So,
fuck 'em.
But Alex Jones.
Yeah, this is nonsense. I mean, it's like $1 billion. Why not a gajillion? You know, just make up a fucking number because this is never happening.
Well, you laugh, but there's still
there's
one more. There's
Yeah.
still more left, and they're saying they could tack on another $1 billion to this. Not that any of it will matter. I don't know why put the. If you're the families, why do you want to go through this? Right? It was tragic enough you lost your children in 2012, but now it's 10 years later.
I have no
and you're
idea.
Still going through this every single day, and most of them were in the courtroom.
I don't know, honestly.
Because there's no money they're not going to get any fucking money from this.
No, this is just angry people, angry and sad people looking for an outlet to take out their anger and sadness. Alex Jones didn't kill your children.
No.
You know what I mean? He said some dumb shit, which he later recanted, and it appears as though it caused them some level of harassment. Yeah, that sucks, man. That was a bad thing for him to do, and he should have to pay for it. But $1 billion, shut the fuck up. This is just political pawn nonsense. Alex Jones has been right about so many government cover-ups, including Jeffrey Epstein, who systematically raped children himself and then allowed U.S. politicians and business people to rape children, right?
Yep.
And was right about all this stuff. And they're trying to use this as an opportunity to make anybody that might come next, right, who might question the government, who might question the fucking prevailing narrative from this propaganda-driven piece of shit government we have, from actually saying something out loud, because this could happen to you too. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make an example of somebody in a First Amendment case, whether it comes down on his side of First Amendment or not. This is completely unacceptable.
Yeah, there was a debate going on line today about whether or not this will cause more people from the left to sue people from the right just because they don't like their shows or whatever else. Like, to that, I have no idea. I know this. The biggest winners in the end are the lawyers. It's Alex's lawyers and then their lawyers. The family will never see any money. Alex will have to pay most of his salary to pay for his legal team because these lawsuits are never ending.
Well, what they want him to do is to stop the company in the same way that OJ stopped working, so he didn't have to pay back the Goldman family. Mm-hmm. That's what they're trying to do.
Correct. Yeah.
They want to make the number so high that he sees there's no exit for it, so that he'll just give up. But I don't know if you've met Alex Jones, but that ain't happening, brother.
No.
Like, he will fucking ride this ship on fire right into the fucking bottom of the ocean. He doesn't give a shit. So it's like every now and again you pick a fight with the wrong motherfucker. There were other people out there you could have taken down probably that you could have made a big deal about like that. This was not the one.
I mean, he went on, an hour later yesterday after this verdict and was just like, oh, fuck everybody. And, I mean, just went off on everything.
Frankly, I think from the federal government allowing all this shit to happen, it was a huge... I mean, if they're really trying to do what we think they are, which is control everything, this was a fucking huge mistake.
Yeah. I don't know what the end outcome will be or what they were hoping for, but over the last... what would you say, 2 months is all this has gone on, the trials and everything else that are over and over and over again. To me, the best way to get rid of somebody, if you're looking to do that, is to not give them any press whatsoever and just drive this out of the news, drive him out of the news, and then let him live on his website on his own. He was already banished from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. You had to go to Infowars.com and watch the shows live if you wanted to see them. Because to my knowledge, still, Dan, you can't even watch it on an app, right? You still have to go to a URL and then type it in and watch the thing. Yeah. If you would have just buried this, told the media to have a blackout on Alex Jones and never talked about it again, that probably would have been the most successful way to try to end his popularity. Now you've only increased it because all we've heard about for the last 2 months over and over and over again is Alex Jones.
This is how Trump got elected in 2016.
It sure is. And
this is so stupid.
It's the same exact thing. Like, if you don't want these people to exist, don't talk about them.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things the NFL did, and we talked about this off air the other day, I think, was not show streakers going onto the field. And guess what? It doesn't happen that much anymore. You don't know their names. You don't see them anymore. And that's the best way above it of like, all right, great, we're turning the cameras away. Then what's the allure of it at that point? So I think if they would have taken that tactic instead of this one, it would have benefited them more. Now you just made him more famous than ever. And the revenue that he's bringing in from the products and the things that he's selling on Infowars.com is higher than ever. Yeah, I mean, he's had 2 of his best days ever.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, this was a huge misstep by these people. And to be clear, I don't think that the families are involved in some kind of conspiracy or anything, but they are being used to that end. Sure.
Yep.
And I understand how a parent that lost their child, although it's been a while, right? I mean, at some point, it's like, all right, time to move on. I mean, honestly, it's
What do you think the acceptable window of a child getting a bullet to the head is for mourning?
Man, because having
Is it like 8?
I have kids, and so like
it's probably never.
It would fuck me up forever.
And then the army of people screaming that your kid didn't exist and that they want you to dig up your kid's body and they're just outside your house picketing, shouting at you.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lot
fucked up.
of like, I don't know, people going to war in Vietnam and then coming back and being spit on after their buddies got killed. Like, this isn't the first time this shit's happened before, but you got to fucking man up, get over it, and fucking move on with your life, right?
So for me, I had this conversation with Jesse because we have kids, and like I think we would just end it. Like I would end it. Now we have multiple kids, so probably one of us going out, and I know that's super dark, but yeah, we've discussed it, Bob. That's real. Like, for real. I know that's super fucking dark.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it, man.
This mic's
No, it is
I don't
not. It
care.
is just an up and a down button on that microphone.
I'm not even touching it. I'm not even touching it.
Sure, Bob.
You don't even need to take one of his kids out to get rid of Bob.
I'm about to fucking blow my own brains out.
But
just do it on air.
For real, though, they are, like you, I understand being super upset about this for a very long time. But you have to, as an adult human, you need to be aware that your fucking serious situation is being used to make the country worse.
Where do you think this compares, or how do you think this compares to, what's his name, Sandman?
Sandman?
Oh, Nick Sandman?
Nicholas Sandman?
Yeah. Essentially a giant, well, in Sandman's case, several, like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. But did he only settle with CNN? Was that
No,
the main
it
one,
was. I believe it was 16.
But essentially, media
16 media outlets. Yeah.
Lying about a story.
Right.
Egregiously.
Right. So if I would have, like, in all honesty, as a parent in this one, I think the smartest play, if you wanted to get money from Alex Jones for defamation and all that shit you went through, would have been to come up with a number that he actually had, settle it, get the fuck out of there, and not mention Alex Jones. So again, going back to what I was saying of, like, if you keep his name off air and everything else, instead of promoting him like that, I think that would have been an effective way to not only get paid, but also stop the media coverage of Alex Jones, since it was Alex Jones.
Do you think that's a lot to expect from them? I'm just asking.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of force
it is, right? But it's the fucking people around them and the community's job when somebody's acting irrationally in a way that hurts everybody else, even if it makes sense from their position, to stop their shit. If I'm on a combat operation, right, and one of my buddies gets clipped next to me and then my other buddy's losing his fucking mind, I slap the shit out of him, right? Because shit's got to get done still.
But who in this situation could have been that person or that form of authority? Like, is it like a bunch of group of people?
No,
to harass them?
no, you know who it is.
It's the federal courts.
Well, it's the federal courts, and it's the lawyers. It's their own legal team.
Yeah, but the lawyers aren't going to do that. They're a bunch of fucking vultures.
I know. Look, we know that, right? But from the outside looking in,
who is that person?
Right. It should have been their legal team that said, "Hey, guys, here's all scenarios." Right. Well, I've been in we have movies, all this shit. We've been in a ton of lawsuits. You have these conversations with your lawyers about the best possible outcome, the worst possible outcome, and what you're trying to achieve in all of this, right? And I think that conversation should have come from their legal team and said, look, if it is simply to get money out of Alex Jones, here's what you do. Even this $1 billion isn't going to shut down InfoWars. So, like, that's not a thing. Dan talked about this a few weeks ago when the Texas verdict dropped. You take the state of Texas. They have a law that says you can't go over, $5 million in a defamation case? Even though they gave $50 million to the family, the max on that is $5 million. He can write the check for $5 million. The $1 billion, that could go to the Supreme Court because it's never happened before. And truthfully, if you're Alex Jones, you probably ride that to the Supreme Court to keep your name in the media over and over and over again for the next 3 to 4 years.
I think the number's stupid. I don't understand the number. I understand Sandman's number. That makes a lot more sense.
Well, that's because that's the establishment media, right? Coming after that's an institution in the country coming after somebody. That is in my opinion, that is parallel with the government infringing on your rights at that point.
That's fair. It was bigger institutions going after him, and so he got what,
300 million, 330 million.
Just take your hand off the wire. It's so easy. It's so easy. I have not had any issues.
I'll put the third mic back here eventually when that comes back. But didn't Alex Jones's listeners look to him like traditional media?
Well, they did, but you can't.
Brag
but
about
here's the difference.
Size of traditional media.
Here's the difference. You can't control that. You can't control your audience, who they are, what they do, all of it. Otherwise, if we
tell them to do something.
But here's the thing: if we could control our audience, they would all be sorority girls from Arizona State. That would be it. Every live show we go to, all of it. Like, we're gonna have some guys here who are contractors on the show. I wish they were blonde with huge fake double D tits, but they're not, dude. You know what I'm saying?
They could be.
I'm going to question their work ethic.
For $5,000, they can get some double D titties. So yeah, I think this is. Did Alex Jones at any point tell people to go harass these folks?
He did not.
I
know.
Say yes.
No.
He said go find it. Go look. Go get them.
Did CNN cause any harassment? Did CNN encourage people to harass Salmon?
Well,
Don Lemon was like, "We got to find where this guy lives."
No, not that. But I think they said
he
had instigated this fight and hated Native Americans.
They lied about what happened.
Correct.
So did Alex Jones.
Right.
So
are you asking what the difference is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, they're bigger so that he deserves more money.
What Alex Jones says is what he thinks happened, right? I mean,
portraying himself as a news organization.
Not portraying himself. He's an entertainer.
Well, he has been, but that's the debate about all of this, right? Of what is real news anymore versus what personalities create as news. Well, even on this show, the reason why it's called fake news is because some of it's real, some of it's fake, and we're trying to decipher what it is, right? But at least it's out front where you're like, all right, great, what the fuck is this?
And maybe he did believe it, but, it should be painful to be stupid.
It should.
Sure.
And I think there is a dollar amount attached to it. What we're saying is the $1 billion is an Austin Powers number that is unpayable, and there's nothing you can...
That's a virtue signal amount.
Right.
Yeah.
So why not go after something realistic, sit down with them, because from what he said, at least, he's had conversations with some of the family members personally, and he's reached out and talked to them and whatever. That had to have been part of the discussion, one would guess, but I don't know. I don't know. But you can't just throw out $1 billion if you're a judge today.
Ross?
I think if they would have stuck to, what was there, 27 in that lawsuit at $1 million apiece, I think he could have got out of there, and that's a realistic expectation.
Like how many days? Like what's a day worth of being harassed like that?
The amount is
and then multiply that by how many days until we're here.
The amount is unmeasurable, especially if you have a child. But someone else's bank account is measurable, where you can either get X out of somebody or not.
This is a ridiculous conversation. Even for fucking murder, there's a limit on how much you can fucking charge somebody or give somebody a sentence. Like, it's up to death, right? Or a life in prison, technically.
And you can only kill them certain ways.
But even in the most egregious circumstances, anything short of murder, there's a number. No matter how bad what you did is, there's a number of how much time you can get. So this idea that we can bankrupt this dude for the rest of his life and any business he might ever start for the rest of his life because he said some words is fucking bullshit.
And I think, when we look back at this, because this might go to the Supreme Court for real on this one. When we look back at this, all parties involved probably should have settled something out of court very quietly and then gone on about it, because now it's just making him more popular and famous. And I mean, Jesus Christ, he's everywhere. I mean, he's literally everywhere. And there was a point where when this all started and he got banned, it was hard to find him for a while. Mm. So now he's front and center everywhere, and he's probably going to have a bigger audience because of all of this. And so that's not the intent you were hoping for either, I'm assuming.
This is the same thing that happened with the New York Post story about the Hunter Biden laptop. Media experts have determined that it got 4 times more coverage than it would have if they would just left it alone. Mm-hmm. But by banning it, a bunch of people that didn't care about that specific issue but care about censorship and so on and so forth, a bunch of other ancillary people who maybe never would have even heard of it are now fans of the guy. are fans of the story or whatever the fuck. This is dumb.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
And by the way, I know we've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. Nobody is trying to justify what he said. It was horrific. It was incorrect. And he did apologize for it eventually. But as far as the $1 billion and all that shit, like that'll ride up to the Supreme Court. He'll ride on the coattails of that and make himself even more popular. So if that was your hope was to end Alex Jones, that's not going to work, dude. Elon G in the chat, by the way, is saying 2 weeks ago he saw 22 buses that filled every hotel in Danbury, Connecticut. They bought an entire wedding party out last minute. The groom had no room either. So, yeah, that's...
I would have slept with one of the Mohicans. Actually, those are, I think, all Venezuelans, the latest crop that's going up there.
Oh, is it?
So I think maybe if you can declare prima nocta and take whichever, adult women for yourself, that's a fair trade. But otherwise, I would burn that hotel to the ground.
I've been to Danbury, by the way. It's very nice, actually. So
I doubt that's true.
No, it is. Danbury, Connecticut is very nice, actually. I'm not kidding. So I'm sure that sucked. I wonder who made that decision, though, in Danbury, Connecticut. If it was like Fresno, you'd be like, all right, I understand.
I believe it's the federal government doing that, my man.
Is it really? Because I wondered that when Lauren said that as well. Like, why these certain hotels and who agreed to it? And if it is the federal government, there's nothing you can do, right?
No, they can tell the federal government to go fuck themselves.
Or they can take the cash, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Which is what these institutions are choosing to do. So it would be a good idea to keep a list of the ones doing it, the names of the places, and then, publicizing that information, A, and not patronizing their business, B. Because cooperating with the federal government to allow a passive invasion from the South seems problematic to me.
Yeah.
And if I don't want that to happen, so, maybe I shouldn't pay for it.
Next up, no gay Superman. Damn it. DC Comics has announced it will axe a recent book series that was centered on a bisexual Superman. Superman is based around Jonathan Kent, the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, and was launched by DC Comics last year. Now, amid poor sales, the comic book publisher announced at New York Comic Con that its 18th issue, due to release in December, will be its last, D'Anthony. Big shock. Yeah. It's a big shock.
Billy Eichmann could not be reached for comment. Fuck out of here.
If it can happen to Superman, it can certainly happen to bros. In the months after John Kent made his debut in July 2021, the 17-year-old character embraced various social issues, including school shootings, fighting climate change deniers, and the deportation of refugees.
Illegal immigrants, I think they meant to say there. And what they also don't say in this article is that the John Kent character, who was the new Superman, was actually in favor of school shootings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So, it's a weird position to take.
Sure.
And then in the series' 5th issue, he started dating one of his male friends and an illegal immigrant hacktivist named Jay Nakamura.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, nobody gives a fuck about a woke-ass Superman. Imagine that. Imagine that. Get the fuck out of here with this stupid bullshit. But it's been happening over the last calendar year. 2 children's programs from Ibrahim X. Kendi, the king of bullshit, right? The guy, the CRT champion of the fucking world. All of his stuff has been getting axed because nobody fucking cares.
No one
cares about this stupid bullshit. If you came up with a superhero character that happened to be gay, nobody's gonna care.
No.
But if you try to turn everybody gay, like fucking Harry Potter characters, well, actually, he was a little gay. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. No one cares.
No one cares.
It wasn't part of, like, that your sexuality and shit like that really should not be part of your identity. Like, I'm a fucking straight man, motherfucker. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Just if you need to even say that shit out loud or think it in your mind, you're fucking weak.
Case in point, I said it last night to my wife. I was talking about Prince. We were talking about Nothing Compares to You, that Sinead O'Connor doc. Prince wrote the song.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said to my wife, I go, look, it was better that he gave it to her because he's talking about wrapping his arms around a boy and everything else. And Jesse's like, oh, you're assuming he's straight. And I was like, Prince is straight and he fucks hard. Okay? Prince is real goddamn straight and he fucks hard. She said the same thing. She goes, the fact that you even had to say that to me, means that there's a doubt.
He's
that
definitely
Prince
not
is straight and fucks hard.
And we have a recent, somebody's brought up Scooby-Doo shit.
In the
Velma.
chat. Velma.
Not one motherfucker had anything to say about that. You know why? Because Velma's a fucking lesbian, and everybody knows it, and nobody cares.
By the way, you know who else fucks women?
Who?
Ezra Miller.
Yep. Hugh Jackman.
I'm sorry, what's the point being made?
Hugh Jackman fucks his wife.
Oh, no,
We're
he
just
does.
talking about real straight people,
dudes
dude.
who are super straight, yeah.
Super straight dudes.
Mick Jagger, straight as hell.
Man, Prince fucks hard, and he's super straight, Bob.
Prince got everything.
Yeah.
There was just Prince he was holosexual.
Yeah,
right.
he was.
There was a hole. He was in it.
Yeah.
It's everything Jaden Smith wants to be.
Wait, I thought Superman can't really bust loads into anybody except Wonder Woman.
No,
'cause she's
that
the
was
only
just
person
from
that can handle it.
that was from Clerks too.
Yeah, but like that's legit.
That should be
But it is
legit,
accurate.
though, right? Yeah, it should be
I
accurate.
think if he had enough, like the right ratio of kryptonite around his balls, it wouldn't blow her back out.
That, or do you think just because the yellow sun doesn't ever touch his cum? Like if he does a face shot, that head's gone. Like a facial.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He has
Facial.
kryptonite on his balls. He ain't getting hard.
That's true. Maybe
true.
he pounded off into a fucking cup, and then you
Maybe.
know they did IVF. Or
like our friend yesterday, Ari Nagel.
yeah.
I believe it was straight panal though the entire time.
Yeah.
Superman hyphen panal.
Panel, dude.
Right.
I still contend that Superman should not know how to fight, but he's so strong it doesn't matter. Why would he
Yeah.
ever have to train? So he's throwing like
Yeah, that's
punches
true.
like
Yeah.
this, but
yeah.
he's killing motherfuckers.
Sure.
He's fighting like Screech from Saved
Yeah,
by
like
the
he's
Bell.
like,
Yeah.
but he could kill you. It doesn't matter. Why would he ever have to train? He's just like,
It's true.
So
It would knock you down anyways.
yeah.
That would be super. Actually, now that I think about it, a very effeminate Superman who didn't know how to throw properly would be super funny. Like you see him as a teenager, and instead of Henry Cavill, it's a kid that's on a paper route, and he's throwing like a fucking little gay lord.
Just the softest punch just knocks a dude's head
Yeah.
off.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
do
what
you
we
just wanna
should have
remake
made.
Smallville.
Yeah, I mean, shit. If he was gay in this fucking thing, he would have killed the guy with a one shot, the one cum shot.
And that's why Batman beats the shit out of him in Dawn of Justice or whatever, because Batman knows how to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman's just a bitch. He's just been strong his whole life.
No. Totally agree. At least we solved it. By the way, we talked about the T-shirts earlier. Drinkin' Bros store. Go to drinkinbros.com. The store is all stocked up. Friend, a lot of you guys are going through this season called fall. I don't know what that is here in Texas, but it looks fun at the football games we watch on Saturday in other cities. And we have hoodies. We got long sleeve tees in there. We've got all the things. If you're in Texas, obviously you're probably not buying these for another 2 months. Right after Christmas is when you probably bundle up here for about an hour, and then it goes back to 94 degrees. But to the rest of the nation, we got super comfy hoodies, long sleeve tees, glassware. People are raging. I get it. The holidays are coming up here pretty soon. We got Halloween, Thanksgiving, everything else. Get some shot glasses, get some glassware. We got all the things in the store. Got the new hats, got the new Olive Garden t-shirts here. Got all the things at the Drinkin' Bros store. And best of all the profits go to us, okay? They're not going to somebody else.
Do you think he uses kryptonite dental dams or something?
Oh, you have to
keep from like licking her clit right off of her body.
It would be a Mr. Hand situation. If the tongue went inside, it would kill her.
He would be able to go really fast,
Yep.
right, for a while. But how do you gauge what's too fast?
Boy.
Do you practice on like a fucking little piece of ham or something?
You're
first?
gonna have to ask Lois, though.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to tap out.
Yeah.
Tap the head, I think.
Well, no, I mean, if you look down and your fucking clitoris is smoking, I think it's time to slow down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you use a kryptonite dental dam. So then he's just like an above average human at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. Anybody actually use a dental dam in life? No. That's a negative for
Yep.
me. You have? Of course.
No, you haven't.
Of fucking
Shut
course.
Yes,
up.
I have.
Who and when and what was the situation?
I
that you
kind of
used a
want to put dental
dam?
dams in the bro box.
A Drinkin' Bros dental dam would be the best, dude.
I was in high school.
Okay.
The condoms weren't working. She was kind of insistent on using some sort of protection.
When you were just going down on her?
No,
Okay.
we were having sex.
Oh,
No, that's not a dental dam.
Yeah, that's not a dental dam.
That's what the fuck is
Condom.
it called? No. Diaphragm. That's a
Diaphragm,
diaphragm.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that's
No, a dental dam is the one you use for eating puss, man.
yeah, it's like a little square rubber sheet, dude, that you pull out.
pull it over your mouth. This just looked like
Yeah,
that.
it's like if you cut a balloon open. They'll just cut it in half and then use half the balloon. That's exactly what it is. Huh. So I didn't know if somebody had busted that out and was like, wait a minute, before you eat my pussy, I need you to have this dental dam. I've never heard it. Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you this. Definitely don't go down on strippers. Right?
Yeah.
At least not at the strip club. If you're dating a stripper and you know that she's just there shaking her fucking, but like a rando in a strip club.
Not a good idea.
Because we had a guy right the night before the cruise started. I don't remember his name.
Yep.
But he showed up with like several $1,000s in singles and
$5,000 in singles.
Yeah. And then fucked a stripper in the strip club, Bucks Wild in Houston, Texas. And I'm not a big fan of condoms, right? I don't use them.
Sure.
But with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. So the power of fucking without condoms comes with the responsibility of not having sex. Raw dog with strippers in a strip club in Houston, Texas, off the highway.
Yeah.
So just.
What was the end result there? Did he get something or?
I don't know. I never asked. Didn't follow up. Maybe we should do a survey.
If you want to go back in the old catalog, I know there's about 1,400 episodes now in there. Just type in Bucks Wild, because I think we titled the episode Live from Bucks Wild. So we were in the VIP room and we interviewed all the strippers and we described the whole experience because I was shocked. I have not seen somebody have sex out in the open like that at a strip club. Usually it's in a champagne room or something like that. But I mean, there was a good 30, 40 of us in there, and we were just watching this guy bang.
It's a great experience.
H-Town.
Yeah, Houston, I guess, right?
Also, Houston strip club off the highway. That's redundant.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just Houston strip club.
They're all off the highway.
Every street's a highway in Houston.
Life is a highway. Johnny Cochran said that. Was it Johnny Cox who said that? No, it wasn't. That's the lawyer. Tom Cochran said it. That's it. He's saying life is a highway. I don't go by the bullshit Brooks and Dunn version, all right? Or no, it was another country band who covered
Rascal
that
Flatts.
That's it. Fuck that. It's Tommy Cox or nothing, dude. Rascal Flatts. Life is a highway. Fuck that shit. They even named their tour that, by the way. Those assholes. Next up. You angling for cash?
This is a follow-up from a story we
sure
did
is. We did it
week.
live. We broke this story.
Yeah, earlier in the week, yeah.
Live on air. Two fishermen captured in a viral video appearing to scam an Ohio fishing tournament are on the hook for multiple crimes, including cheating. Authorities said in announcing their indictments on Wednesday. Cuyahoga County prosecutor Michael C. O'Malley, strong Irish name there, described the allegedly fishy conduct of Jacob Runyon, 42, and Chase Kaminsky, 35, at last month's Lake Erie Walleye Trail Tournament as not only dishonorable, Dan, but also criminal, which I did not know you could actually charge people for.
Well,
this.
Cheating in a tournament with a cash prize is considered theft, and if it's over a certain amount, it's considered grand theft, which is what they've been charged with.
No shit. God damn it. So what was the prize? Because we did it was what, 28 grand was the prize money or something like that?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, shit. $28,760. This tournament was up in Cleveland. No surprise there.
Wait, you can't fish in Cleveland?
Well, there is a lake. It's just in a river.
Didn't the water downtown catch on fire?
It did. The
like
river did.
2010 or something like that.
The river caught on fire. But Lake Erie is up there. So
now, just to be clear, I'm
the mistake by the lake. That's what they call Cleveland.
Like water is not supposed to be flammable.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
Yep.
So
it's a lot more than water in that river, friend. That's Cleveland. That's still one of the best viral videos ever. The person
coming down to Cleveland town, everyone. Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good.
If you want to look it up, it's called the Cleveland tourism video or some shit like that. I don't remember. It's really funny.
So it's unclear right now what these charges actually carry, because I asked you this last night.
I know that the grand theft one is per incident 6 to 18 months in jail.
Okay.
And then associated fines and stuff. But there's other charges as well. In the article, it said they were charged with cheating, which I don't think is real. Even in Ohio, that's probably not a real thing.
Cheating's not, but if there's prize money involved, and like I know the other fishermen were bitching that they had received sponsorships from winning other tournaments, and they think they probably cheated in those as well. And I believe they got a boat out of somebody. for their previous wins?
Yeah, they've gotten other stuff, but there's no evidence they did other stuff in other ones unless they confess to it. But possession of criminal tools is an upcharge in Ohio. So it's like if you have a tool other than something standard, like a car would be normal, but a boat is not, right?
Yeah.
So using the boat in the commission of a crime, that's an extra charge. And then there's this other one, which makes me think that there might be more to this story that we're not seeing, and that is the unlawful ownership of a wild animal. Does that mean they stole the fish out of or did they have some other animal that's unrelated to the tournament? You know what I mean? That one was weird to me.
I don't know, but I want that answer.
Yeah,
if they had like a dead sea otter or something, that'd be dope.
Or if they had like some kind of animal with the power to insert the weights into the fish.
Yeah.
Like it was a telepath or something. I don't know.
I know there was a different type of fish that was stuffed into the fish's mouth to cover up the weights down there at the bottom.
But I'm guessing that was just fillets they got from the fucking grocery store.
I don't think you can charge somebody for that. I just want to know what this animal is now.
Yeah, I would love to know.
A wolverine?
Yeah.
I think they had a live wolverine on there.
I don't know that.
If they're from Michigan, they could have snuck that down to Ohio.
Are there wolverines in Michigan?
Oh yeah, that's the mascot.
I know it's the mascot.
Yeah, there's live ones up there, and they're nasty. They're nasty little fuckers. But I'm real curious to see the outcome of this because look, people cheat and shit all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe people will think twice about this.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I want to see more stories like this, to be honest.
So do I. Now's the point in the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the week. You, sir, come on up. Come on up and be on the show. We'll do one at a time. Because we only got one microphone set up here. I didn't know there was two of you today, but come on in. Come on in. Welcome. Welcome to Drinkin' Bros, friend.
Should I throw the Price is Right sound?
Yeah, do we have it?
We can do it in the
That'd
future.
Be great. That'd be awesome. Put it about an inch from your face there. We appreciate it. It's a nice watch. Is that a Rolex?
No, that is a Gren.
Okay, pop that in. What's a Gren?
Right there. A Gren is a company that went out of business in 1979.
No shit. That's a dope watch, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of a presidential Rolex ripoff kind of thing.
That's nice.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a nice thing. Tell everybody your name.
My name's Chael Shaw. I'm with Monster Property Services.
Hell yeah, here in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, right down the road, actually. Nutty Brown.
Are you in Drip?
Yeah, we're just outside of Drip. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so you're right by my house.
Yeah, right by your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where I live?
I know you live in Drip. Yeah.
Do you know my address? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So look, we've been having problems here with people in Austin. We've bitched about it numerous times on the show. You guys reached out and you're like, hey, dude, we can actually help you out here. Even yesterday, and I don't know if you caught Ross Patterson Revolution this morning, but just to light the signs, because we got the signs up, right?
Oh.
They were like, to light them, it's going to be $15,000.
It's nuts.
And I was like, what? And then it was a service charge just to get them to come out to tell me that it was going to be $15,000, and that was $250 for the service charge. And what me and my wife were saying was every single one of these places, no matter what you do now in Austin, has a service charge just to come see it. And if you don't do it, then they're out of there. We think that people are just jacking up the quotes to like $15,000, either one, hoping that dumb people from California are going to pay it, or two, they're just getting the service fees. They're here for about 15 minutes and then they leave, in which case you could make like $1,500 a day and be rich, son. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, kind of. And backstory on that, I came on with the company about a year ago, and I honestly, like my first week, I sat with Steve, the owner, and I was telling him about you and your wife and the stuff you guys went through getting your flooring done.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened to that guy. And
the one that had the fake report and all this shit, or
the one that just kept dicking you guys around, and eventually you kind of just shut him out of business with the
the pool company.
Yeah.
The pool company. That fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yes. That was the worst. So we've had issues with all of it, though. I will say this, because let's see. Flooring, we're good because my neighbor does the flooring, right?
But I think you had an issue with the guy before.
Oh, yeah.
Was his name Ray?
The carpet guy. Yeah, Ray. That fucking dude.
Yeah, so I mentioned that right when I started with Steve, and I was like, so this is what's going on, and he lives right there in Belterra, and he's like, it is going on. People are getting $10,000 to walk away from projects that they're in the middle of to go to a different one. People have half-finished kitchens that have been that way for
And then they're putting liens, like if you fire them, they'll put a lien on your property, so if you try to sell it, and they want the lien money, and then you got to go and sign an affidavit and all that other shit, hire a lawyer, and they would rather just get the money because they think it's cheaper than the legal fees and shit. Like, it's chaos here.
Yeah, it's chaos. And, you know, I'm from San Antonio. I moved here in 2019. And I've never seen anything like this. It's just from 19 till now, just the expansion, the people coming in, everything. Contractors that were making 1/4 of what they were getting before and now being bought out mid-project and moving on to something else.
And they're rich as fuck, dude.
Rich as fuck.
The contractors that live in Austin, rich as fuck here, dude.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And the same thing went on in Los Angeles. And so when everybody asked me, and I hate answering this question, they were like, hey, listen to the show. How is it? You know, people from Texas, they were like, how is it? Isn't it amazing here? And I'm like, it's not been that fun for us. And everything has been an uphill battle, especially when you have just little home projects to do where you're just like, dude, people, if it's too small, they don't want to come out.
Right.
If they can't make at least, you know, $1,500, $2,000 off a project, you can't get them out to the fucking house, dude. Yeah.
And that's kind of a year ago when we came on. It's like, what can we do and do well? And that's not take on projects that we don't intend upon completing. And you know, we've been in property management, the company, for 30 years. And so we've been dealing with all the maintenance issues. So we already have people lined up for that and people in-house. And it's like, okay, if somebody needs a garage door fixed,
right,
we can get our guy out there.
Yeah.
But if we receive 300 phone calls in a day, we're probably going to turn away, like, you know, a lot of the ones we can't do, instead of promising that we're going to go out just to collect a service fee.
Sure.
And go out and just do a bid and charge them that and not even do the work. And so it's been rough. All the headaches that you've encountered dealing with vendors and stuff like that, we get paid to deal with now. So,
well, which is great. Yeah. So if you're new to this town, tell everybody the name of the company again.
The name of the company is Monster Property Services at monsterpropertyservices.com. And my name's Chael Shaw.
Awesome. And how long have you been listening to the show?
I am kind of a day one original.
Yeah, you day one homie?
Yeah, my brother was in the service with Jack Mandeville.
Shut the fuck up.
And Jack actually lived with me and my parents for a while after he got out of the service.
Really?
And I was real happy for him when he moved to Durham and got in with Ranger Up.
He's the best.
Yeah,
Jack is the best. Obviously, he does the Friday Night Jack session on our network. Yeah. But in real life, we've been friends for, maybe 7 or 8 years now at this point. I love Jack. Great actor, great person, and is unbelievably polite in real life, where you're just like, oh, Jesus. All right, cool.
Yeah, Jerry and Becky raised a good boy.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah. When I met them at the premiere at Range 15, I go, hey, raised a good boy. Raised a good boy. And she was like, oh, my gosh, thank you. And I was like, yeah, you bet.
They're also Minnesota nice.
Oh, yeah.
I love
real
them.
Nice. All very nice people. Yeah. You know the drill. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
I got to give Drinkin' Bro of the Week to the owner of our company, Steve.
Okay.
He's a major in the Air Force.
Oh, really? No shit.
Yeah.
Cheers, Steve. All right. Is he still in?
He is actively reserved right now.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And then you kind of pick up the slack when he goes back?
He hadn't had to go back too much, but I'm worried about when that happens. But
yeah. I bet. Where it's just like, hey, man, I got to go. It's all yours now. Okay?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Here's a wrench.
Yeah.
Figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I know you're here to help us, and we greatly appreciate it. It's been gnarly here, dude.
How long have you guys been here?
2.5 years now.
Not at this building, right?
No. So we were downtown. Our first studio was at downtown, and we were looking for a property to buy so we could build like this, right? Mm-hmm. And have all kinds of cool shit and smoke weed, or let them smoke weed all day.
Right.
And booze all day and everything else. Because when you're renting from somebody, let's face it, if they were to come in, you could be evicted for shit like that. Now it's bulls on prey. We don't fucking care. Great. But even when we moved here and you bought a property and everything, because of COVID and the permits and all that other shit, like we knew it was going to be a longer process. And I know Rogan did the same thing, built another studio, had a temp studio, and then had his own. That's what we did here, and now we can do whatever we want. So in this location, I think we moved in July.
Okay. So
we've been out here, but we've had the same problems at all over the city, and then household-wise at all of our houses as well. So it sucks because the Texas we were promised when we moved here was like guns, freedom, amazing. Instead, we got high property taxes and.
Well, you guys are a little far out of it too, out in Drip.
But that's intentional.
Yeah.
Because right as we were moving here, the riots were going on. I don't know if you remember with the George Floyd shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, this is no lie, the hotel that I was staying at, my wife and I had saw a bunch of protesters walking through. And this is fucked. This is a fucked story. They definitely weren't staying at the hotel. They were all wearing the same gear. The signs were already pre-painted and made, and they were super nice. And it was like, oh, this is all fake. Like these people... They're not from Texas. The people that were rioting down in Austin and shutting down the highways and all this shit. And I, no lie, asked, because there was about 20, 25 of them, and we were staying at the Omni downtown. And they walked up to the clerk and they said, do you know how to get to 35, the Highway 35? And the woman had given them directions. And I had stopped one of the guys with the signs and I was like, shouldn't you guys know? Aren't you from here? And they were like, no, we're from Oregon. We're out of town. We're from Oregon. And I was like, all right, why are you protesting in Austin when you could be in Oregon? It's the same cause, right? Yeah. But they were paying people to go around to different big cities and everything like that. And I think the next night is when that guy drove over somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Or shot somebody.
Yeah, they shot him down on 5th Street. I think.
Yeah, to get out of all that, because they surrounded his car and tried to drag the guy out of his car. Yeah. And he popped one of them and everybody scattered and then got out of there. And it was like, oh shit, we definitely shouldn't live near downtown. So yeah, that was a lot of us, right? So like Rogan and all these guys, like, yeah, nobody's living downtown.
Yeah, no. And during that time when they were actually on 35 protesting, I was working overnights at the time.
Oh, fuck.
And I was heading to work and they were on 35. And it's like the biggest sellout moment of my entire life. They were blocking it. I just like rolled down my window and just went,
no way.
And they let me go right through.
As long
Everything
as you,
was cool.
I like that you admitted it.
Got to work.
Like, hey,
I'm still here. Why not? Yeah.
God, it would have been hard not to just resist the urge to just fucking gun it, dude, and just go right through them.
Not with that many people. It was wild.
It was wild.
Like they were sitting there. There were people sitting.
You drive a pickup truck?
No, at the time I was driving a sedan.
All right. That makes sense. Because I drive a heavy pickup truck, right?
Right.
We're always lugging around production equipment or seltzer or whatever it is, right? So it's like, man, it's heavy. And I know that I could take out probably 12 or 14 people. If I can get it up to maybe 70, like 60, 70, I could probably take out that many. Because at that point, they were stretched out all along the highway. And I was like, dude, if I got through 15 or 16 of them, and I had, because we watched it on the news, and I turned to my wife and I was like, if I had kids in the backseat of the car, I would have gunned it as fast as I could, never looked back, and then told the police, like, look, what do you want us to do? And I think that's what happened in all those cases. They all, nothing ever happened where it was like, hey, dude, you're in the fucking highway. What'd you think was going to happen? And, people got kids and somebody had a wife in the car and all the other shit. Like, I love those videos. And in private, when I go home, that's the videos I watch, like, and laugh. It's not like little sketches or TikTok videos. It's protesters getting run over. Like, those make me laugh endlessly.
Well, yeah, and the shooting on 5th Street with the guy trying to get out.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody turned on a dime. They were screaming, just like ready for war.
Stopped.
In a second, everybody's screaming, running behind pillars,
gone,
crying. It was real interesting. It was a really odd time to move to Austin, man.
That was our first experience here.
Yeah, that's wild. Glad it didn't scare you away, but
no, I mean, look, I've lived in major cities most of my life, not intentionally. Like when I was a kid, we moved to Georgia. Atlanta was nothing. I mean, it was kind of the early days of Austin where it was like there was a lot of jobs there. So I think my parents had gone down there for work. I think it was Scientific Atlanta was the name of the company. And they were hiring, a bunch of people were hiring, and that's kind of how big cities happen, right? Same with Austin. Right. All the tech communities come in here, so there's a lot of jobs created. Now they don't have a lot of houses, and then they're trying to race and catch up, and which is what you guys are doing and everybody else is going through. It's the same thing in Atlanta, so I saw it at least in a big city there. And, shit gets wild in a big city. And then went to school at Ohio State. And you're probably thinking, well, Columbus isn't that big. I think it's like the 26th or 7th biggest market there is. But, dude, after an Ohio State game, if they lost, win or lose, there was a slogan like, win or lose, shit's going to fucking burn, right? And so I got to see like riots firsthand. And I was like, oh, fuck. All right. And then I went to New York after that, big city. Shit was crazy there. Even when we sold Matt's book, we were there the day after. No lie, we had signed sign the contract. And then the day after, Trump won. And so we were there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was thousands and thousands of protesters in the streets, and like Black Rifle Coffee wasn't that big at that time. And we were wearing these Black Rifle Coffee hoodies, so we put them up, and we were just going in the streets getting footage and like fucking with people, and it was hilarious. But I'd seen all that, and then in Los Angeles, obviously, there's been riots for years and years and years. So it's like, all right, I lived there for a while. So that didn't scare me off, but what I did think to other people that were there just visiting or considering moving there, they probably looked at this as like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And I think to stand up for Texas on that front, when that was going on, those people weren't from Texas. And when we flew back, because we flew back to North Carolina after that, we saw about 15 or 20 of them in the airport. And they were all wearing the same shit from the day before and everything you saw on the news. And they were getting ready to go to a different city. And I think they were going to Phoenix. And that's where I kind of knew the fix was in, that this was a paid organization who was paid to go and protest, fuck up a bunch of cities, spray paint. Because if you notice, the words that were spray painted on buildings and everything, they were all the same in all these different cities. And it was the same writing and everything else. And you were just like, oh, all right, there's probably 4,000 to 6,000 people that you're just paying to go from city to city to city to be professional rioters, not actual humans who are living in that city who feel that, you know, there's no justice being served.
But who's paying them?
I think I don't want to go too far down a fucking Alex Jones rabbit hole here, but I think at that time it was the left because that fit the narrative and at least you could sell that. Yeah, man, that's my guess.
Yeah.
That's just my guess because at the time you were still up for the election. The election was about to happen and everything else. And that's just the vibe that I got. Yeah. And having at least been able to talk to a few of them and knowing that they weren't from there, I was like, there's no way you just happened to be on vacation in Austin. And you were like, man, I'm pissed off about what's happening. How do I make these signs? How do I get this? How do you get the supplies down there? Yeah. At the Omni Hotel, you're by 6th Street. Now, if you were saying you're getting a bunch of bottles of booze, sure. You know, some shot glasses, maybe. You're not getting cardboard signs and paint and helmets and little truncheons.
Austinites are traditionally some more mellow people.
Yeah.
As a people.
And I've been to Austin maybe 5 or 6 times in the past. And shit, I actually lived here for a movie for close to 4 months. I never saw any of that, dude. Like none of it. So that's why I thought the fix was in, and I was like, all right, it's safe enough for me and my family to move here. However, in case shit does pop off again, I head out to the burbs a little bit, and then I'll pop back downtown. And
Trip's a great area. You
all this stretch is great out here.
The ranch huts out there. You get a little bit of the country. You're still about 20 minutes away from downtown.
Easy.
It's not bad. It's great.
Not bad at all. Yeah. We appreciate you being here.
You.
We appreciate you helping us out today, and then hopefully we'll have a sink here. By the end of it, that'd be nice.
Yeah. We're gonna work on getting that lined up for you guys, and I guess you got some issues at the house too.
Yeah. We love your help all the way around.
Yeah. I apologize for not reaching out before, but I drove by, saw the sign. The sign's working.
I know.
I didn't see the post.
I know. But hey, just like everything else in Austin, we had to wait, I think 10, 12 weeks for the sign.
Somebody just plowed through our sign at our office in Austin.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, plowed through.
Yeah, get ready because you're going to have to wait for your sign to be fixed and all that stuff. So.
We're getting insurance look at it. It's about $15,000 too.
Sure is. Yeah. Sure is, friend. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in, kids. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, go to Spotify. Just click the 5-star. There's no review to be had on there. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.